I'm very curious about your opinion here. So the situation is that your teammate gave a negative review feedback of the presentation. You've been working very hard for the last 3 days. You think the presentation is really a good one, and you're working hard, and you feel that this is a mean comment. And my question is, if you would be in the position of a person who did the presentation and you received the review, the negative review, and you think this was a mean comment, what would you do? I'm happy to know your answers. Later on, I will share mine. There is no one good answer, obviously. This is important about the values, that it's not like only one way to approach things. But I think that discussing this and understanding how we see such case may be a source of knowledge how to navigate in the company when things happen. So what do you think? I need a volunteer that would share his thoughts. So I know it's gonna happen. I knew it. So it's like the last man standing. Awesome.
So I think the thing that's always I try to remember, because I have trauma around feedback, and some of you know this, like it's like the worst thing ever for me. And but I always try to think of it in my mind like it's technical, it's not personal. So the first thing I do is I would try to, like, I would actually objectively think, are they actually being mean? Because sometimes people are just being mean, and that can be a thing. But I would get them to clarify and say, what exactly do you mean by this? And get an answer from them first to make sure that I understand where they're coming from, especially if this communication is written, because sometimes we're writing to each other and we're super quick and we don't have time. You know, like sometimes, you know, Matek, you might write to me something super short and I'm like, he hates me. And it's like, no, you just have a million freaking things that you're doing, you know? So, you know, I think it's important to remember that we're also typing and we have a million things to do. So I think asking clarification is the first step.
Okay, thank you. And anyone else would like to share something?
I can see two cases here. If the topic is super urgent, I need to use this presentation, and I do not have a time for the second scenario, I implement it or not and go on, even if, you know, even if I need to take responsibility for do not implement this comment. But if I have a time, probably I ask some additional question to this mean comment, because if someone is, I'm not sure if it's correct in English, but if someone is rude the next time in the next comment, probably it's something wrong in our relationship, and after that I can work on it. But if someone, you know, in the next comment explain me their point of view, maybe my additional question helped me understand their perspective, I can see that it wasn't a mean comment, because it was just my impression during the first comment this person wrote.
Okay,
so I use the question to, you know, clarify the situation.
Okay, cool. So my take on this would be, obviously assume positive intention. So what Kasia said is absolutely right. Ask a question, double check, have in mind that communication remotely is very difficult. We already know that we often deal with a case where we feel like someone is rude, someone is not nice, and then it's just because he was writing something quickly and in fact he wanted to help. It's absolutely fine that someone says that my presentation was poor. I'd love to understand why he thinks so. And I would also recommend to ask a third person about it if you feel like you are getting into a conflict with someone. So just asking a person, hey, this is a situation, what do you think? Is always fine to have another perspective. But one thing is crucial here for me. If this was really a mean comment, then I would do my best to double check, is it really a mean comment? Because there is no place here to do any kind of mean comments, to be a rude person, to be an asshole. And I would recommend not to accept it ever. So it's not really about whether the presentation was poor or not. It's okay to do a poor presentation. It's even better to give someone a feedback that it was poor, but it's never okay that someone is mean, that someone is rude, that someone is an asshole. So this is the thing I would focus on, not about whether it's true or not that the presentation is poor, because it's an opinion. I would focus on solving the problem that the person is rude, and at the same time trying to really double check what was the intention, what were the feelings of this person, and just to try to work around the fact whether this was a mean comment or not, because as Jakub mentioned, if we leave it alone, this will escalate. If you let someone treat you in this way, then he will go and treat others in this way. So I would say that maybe the best option would be, hey, do you know that for me, this comment was a little bit mean? Was it your intention? And probably the other person would say, hey, I really didn't know. I'm sorry, I was in rush, I was on the phone, anything. But really having a discussion about whether this person really wanted to write a mean comment and whether she was aware that this is a mean comment, this is important. I think this is crucial for the company to build good relations in a team. And only if we do build them, we can be successful as an organization. Okay, so this is all from my side. Maybe someone wants to add a comment on this.
Maybe one thing, in addition to what you said, I believe that a lot depends on whether this comment was constructive or not, or just like it sucked, fix it. Because if it was constructive, then there is like a background to reconsider the entire thing, the entire presentation. But in other case, we should focus on problem with an attitude.
Yeah, I hear you, Philippe. I know that this is important, whether it was true or not. I would just say, for me, these are two separated things. So even if someone would do the worst job possible, it doesn't mean that someone can be mean. It doesn't mean that someone is allowed to be an asshole. So I would really not to mix those two things. Even if this was the shittest presentation ever, it doesn't really mean that we can treat someone in a mean way. So I hear you. I think I know what you mean. And still, I would recommend not to allow to. So we are not our work. We can really speak about a work that was done in a poor way, but at the same time, we need to respect each other. And this is actually a very good example of microaggression. And microaggression is that much difficult to notice because it's micro, it's very, very small. And then when it's escalating, it's snowballing, and suddenly we wake up in an organization when people are just mean to each other, when the relation between people are bad. And I think it starts with those very, very, very little things like mean comments. And yeah, I know, for example, that some of my comments are seen as mean. And I've been often informed by people about this. And it helped me a lot to work harder on the way I communicate without this information that, hey, when I wrote this, it was set for me. I thought that you said that I'm a poor person, whatever, that I'm not doing my job well. It was very helpful for me because my intention really wasn't to be mean. So generally in this kind of situation, as we believe we have good intentions and we are good people, I recommend and ask you to have the conversation right away, to say, hey, I feel that you are mean, that your comment was mean. I feel bad about this. What are your intentions? What are your feelings? Just do it right away, straight away, put it on the table, see it from the different perspective. Don't think that it's okay, or don't think that it's you that felt bad and it's your problem. It's a problem of an organization, and we need to take care of it together. Yeah, so this is
Can I just add one little thing to that?
Yeah.
Because I had this conversation with someone the other day about when we're communicating our emotions, to avoid saying like, you did this and your communication was that and you. It's like more like, I felt this way and I felt that way. It's like, you know, using I statements instead of like you statements. Does that make sense?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
In the way,
'cause I just wanted to make that clear to people, because sometimes it's like your comment was mean. It's like,
Yeah.
well, no, I perceived this comment to be this, and my feeling about it is that. Because I think like it took me a while to learn that style
Yeah.
of communication, you know. And
Yeah, thank you for this. Yes, this is true. I think that what we've been doing during the offline integration, so the non-violent communication, so using this in this case would be when you write things in this way, I feel that you are mean and you disrespect me, and I need to feel an important person for you, or I need to feel that you respect me. This is why I ask you to be more polite the next time. So this is an example of how the non-violent communication would be used.
Can I interrupt you? Because I think that saying, I feel like you are mean to me, is not a feeling, it's an opinion. You are mean to me. And it's not a feeling, because you cannot feel somebody being
you're
mean.
right.
I feel,
this is
for
again
example,
a you statement.
yeah, you can
Okay.
say, I feel attacked, I feel sad, I feel uncertain, I feel underappreciated, or I don't understand this comment and it makes me, and I feel, I don't feel, I cannot take any meritoric knowledge out of it. So you have
you're
to say
right, you're
only
right.
about you, because saying, I feel like you are doing something, it's opinion discussed as an I feeling, and it's very important.
I think that we would need to dig deeper into the non-violent communication forum. So I agree that this is an opinion. At the same time, I just wanted to show how to use this forum. So this is just a good moment for those who want to remind this way of communication, just to Google it right away. So anyway, thank you for the conversation, and thank you for your opinion, and thank you, Victoria, for pointing this, obviously. And have a great weekend.